I also appreciated that she didn't make me feel like I had to be the Black girl that would guide her on her allyship journey. That's a lot of pressure to put on a new friendship, and I was grateful Hannah didn't put me in that position.
As a white person, is there anything more uncomfortable than talking about race and racism, even with your closest friends? Sex, religion, and politics all seem easier than the conversations about race we should be having. Even though most of us want to be seen as our full selves in close relationships, which includes all that makes up our identities, we avoid having productive conversations on race. Unfortunately, our society, our schools, churches, and workplaces have ill-prepared us for these dialogues, the kinds that could lead to real progress. As white people, we avoid them because they're difficult, uncomfortable, and because acknowledging our differences only scratches the surface of what lies beneath even our most benign cross-racial interactions. Our harmful history, our society's obsession with whiteness, and our individual responsibility. For those who are looking to broach the race conversation with their friends, but don't feel equipped with the tools, context, or confidence to do so, we aim to give you those resources with this book. Our goal is to transform the ways that people of color and white people relate to and understand each other, because there is no justice or equity without conversation first. In both interracial friendships and same-race friendships, there should be space to talk about race. I mean that for white friendships too. As white people, we are not raceless, and our silence about racism contributes to an inequitable society, whether it's intentional or not. After creating space for these kinds of dialogues in our work as the Kinswomen, we've seen firsthand how deeply healing and bonding having these conversations can be. The vulnerability it takes to share and be witnessed in all that makes up our identities creates stronger, more fulfilling friendships across our differences, even though they may require extra care and consideration.
Honesty is such a big part of my friendship with Hannah. And I hope that our transparency will give space for conversations that often don't come naturally, specifically within interracial friendships. I've seen firsthand when my Black or POC friends, people of color, realize that they've never had these conversations with their white friends. And by the time they're having them, they realize there's a big gap in understanding. For me, it's like an elephant in the room if these conversations don't come up with my white friends. It's like I'm not acknowledging a huge part of me that makes me whole. I also know from being friends with white people that there are situations that come up, comments, attitudes, and the like, that remind me we're not living in the same type of reality. I think having these kinds of conversations should be a natural, common practice of friendships. I think the biggest reason why it's so hard to talk about race in friendships, even really strong friendships, is fear. The fear that our differences will be too great and talking about race will kill the good vibes. It's natural to be afraid to talk about something that you worry will distance you from someone you love so much. It is scary because there are no real tools that account for the complexity of being friends or in love with someone who says something problematic or has racist ideas. I have felt a great deal of shame when I found myself in those dynamics. I felt responsible, like I had failed myself by putting myself in spaces and interactions that ended up being offensive and damaging both mentally and emotionally. There's always the potential of losing a friend or experiencing the anguish of white fragility, a response that tends to shift blame and cause even more harm. The reality is that interracial friendships are layered and require a different kind of emotional labor. I want to be clear that I never want to pressure BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, and people of color, into having interracial friendships or make it seem that they're required to do the work